Hi guys. Hello. And
Bonjour.
bonjour
Bonjour.
to la France. We are in France. If you haven't already noticed from our Instagram, we are in France right now, and it's been such an amazing trip. And we thought, it would only be right for us to share some of our experiences with you. Um, so who wants to start? What do you want to?
I think we should start with just taking off from DFW in general,
Yes.
from trying to get through airport check. So Charnay did tell us to be mindful of our bags and our luggage because of when we do get to France, we're going to have to go upstairs and just different things.
May have to walk down the sidewalk with our luggage.
Yes.
We don't know what the journey is actually going to look like when we get to France. So why don't we pack lightly?
However, the places that we're going, the weather is changing into 3 different climates.
Yes, because we're in 3 different cities during this trip.
So the first place is cold. The second place is a little warm, and then it gets even warmer. So we weren't sure really how to pack accordingly for day as well as for night.
Right.
And then have to factor in hair products for me because my hair is still natural, while the other two, they have their hair straight. They were wiser with their decision. We get to the checkout counter and our bags are over, obviously. So they're like, okay.
Over the weight,
yes. So then we're like, okay, step over to the side and try to go ahead and
rebalance your bag. Take something out of this one, can you put it in your carry-on bag? Let's shift.
And it wasn't just one bag that was over, though it was mainly mine. There were 2 bags. That were overweight. My bag was fine. But Shonika already put hers through. And scented was like, go with God.
Yes.
The rest of us had to figure out between the two how we could navigate this.
Yes.
With my book bag, which is my own carry-on, and the other two,
my tote bag.
She has a tote bag, and Shonika just has her stuff.
My pocketbook and my little tote.
So pause for just a second, because interesting story about this. My suitcase was about 4 pounds overweight. Sharina's suitcase was 10 pounds overweight. So this was our plan. So as we're taking things out of my bag, we put them in Sharina's bag. And we get her bag to 16 pounds overweight? 66 pounds, guys. 66 pounds. That's like 31, 32 kilograms. Something like that.
Like, I'll just pay for one bag.
We'll pay for one bag. It's an extra $100. So we got it all in Sharina's bag. We put the thing on the scale. We see how much weight it is. And the lady at the ticket counter, she was so sweet. She said, oh my goodness. She said, wait a minute, 16 pounds overweight? She said, let me help you out. And so she proceeded to hand us plastic bags.
Gray plastic bags.
That were like
behind that counter.
So like a shopping bag, basically.
Yep. She said, listen, that money, you can save that.
She said, you should save that $100 instead of trying to pack it all in this one. And to some extent, she was right, because here's the deal. If we were overweight going to France, we would be overweight for all of our trips within France, because we had other trips planned. So we are trying to stuff enough things in these plastic bags,
and only one
plastic bag, because
we already had one carry-on.
Right, we already had 2 carry-ons. Well, Shanika and I had 2 carry-ons. Sharina had 1 carry-on, or was able to consolidate into 1 carry-on. So we had to consolidate all of this into 1 plastic bag. But here's the clincher.
So then we get back to the checkout counter.
Here's the clicker.
That. I put my luggage back on the belt. You see what it is.
And she's still 6 pounds off.
It's still over. Like, I don't understand why.
We taken out our heaviest shoes, our heaviest sweaters,
jeans. We started putting things in, I had the bag, put things in Shonika's toe, put things in Charnay's. We just had to figure it all out, how we could get
crevice.
Mind you, we're trying to hurry up and make it to our flight.
We're trying to make it to our flight, because we were a little bit later to the airport than we wanted to be.
So with that, we ended up...
Wait, what did the lady do?
The lady on the other side, who was already helping us, who gave us the gray bags, not our attendant, but her friend.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, that's the problem." Well, like, what's the problem? The flight attendant is standing on the belt, looking over.
at the weight to see how much we are. She said, you have to take your foot off of the thing. Oh.
She had her foot on the scale.
Which is why we weren't even sure if we...
But you know, it wasn't just us, but even the Indian man.
No,
Yeah,
because
there was an
she had a
Indian
person
man,
before.
and the funniest, he said, when I weighed it over there, it passed. It was 4 pounds under. She said, well, you obviously have gained.
That foot was on the
foot.
was still on the
I don't
scale.
know how many people she turned away that day
because
of her own foot being on the scale.
Ridiculous.
Yes. It was
We laughed so hard.
funny. But we do appreciate them saving us $100 on our
Thank
luggage.
you so much,
Thank you
American
so
Airlines.
much, American Airlines,
Right.
for making sure that we could save that extra $100.
So that was the beginning of our trip.
So then we
Arrive in Paris.
Mm-hmm. The Uber drivers.
Yes.
So I told Charnay, I said, listen, probably should wait.
Go ahead.
I said, you know, the same way they have luxury vehicles in the U.S., they should have a Mercedes or BMW. You should be able to get a nice Uber. Guess what rolls up? Tell them.
A Mercedes Benz. But here's the deal. I wasn't concerned about whether or not it was luxury or not luxury. I'm concerned about the fact that we have 3 very large sized luggage. We have no carry-on size luggage outside of just, tote bags and purses, basically. We have big suitcases. And I, as someone who has lived in France and who has gone back and forth, I don't know how many times, I explained, I said, listen, their cars are generally smaller. They may not have the amount of trunk space to hold all of this luggage.
I wasn't concerned.
She was not concerned.
She's like, okay, extra, whatever.
So our Uber comes up, and thankfully, it was a Mercedes, as she explained. But I was also right, in the sense that our Uber driver, the first thing he says as he looks at our luggage is, you should be very glad. Now, he says this to me in French. You should be really glad that you got me. That you basically got me, because, I mean, I have a big enough trunk to hold all of this. But if you got anybody else, I don't think so. It's not looking good.
That's how confident he was.
Now, granted, in his defense, he had a good reason to be confident. Because he's probably one of the most handsome Uber drivers I've ever seen.
He was nice looking.
Well, thank you.
He was
Bonjour to
very
you too.
handsome. It was a
Jacket,
lovely
all
welcome.
black.
A very
had
lovely
on a suit to
bienvenue
greet
en
you.
France.
Very clean.
Yes, very clean, tan skin, dark features,
Yeah, good looking.
beautiful, European suit.
Again, a suit to welcome
very
you
confident.
and to come and pick you up. Not t-shirt,
Yes.
a suit.
No, a suit. He was, yes. So he got 2 of our bags in the trunk, our suitcases in the trunk. The 3rd suitcase had to ride shotgun upside down because he's very meticulous. So the wheels are up and the suitcase is in the front passenger seat, and he scooted it up so it wouldn't move. Only problem is, not too long after we left, he realized he couldn't see out of his side view mirror, so he had to scoot the seat back halfway through or partway through our journey. So that worked out. But I tell you one thing, Mr. Ali had a lot going on. He had a lot of thoughts about the Parisian traffic that he dealt with on this blessed Friday morning.
Yes.
One of my favorite moments. Do you want to share it, or should I?
You should share it.
Okay. One of my favorite moments was when we were in the car and we're trying to make a right turn. And so we're proceeding to make a right turn. There is another vehicle that decided to also make a right turn right here in the corner of where he is. We're already in stop and go traffic at this point. There is no other right lane. There's one right lane.
It actually looks like a circle. I'm confused with the traffic here.
There was already only one right lane. And Ali sees this man who is trying to scoot past him to also make his right turn.
And get in front of him.
And get in front of him. And he's like, let me move the luggage.
Roll down the window.
Rolls down the window. The window's rolling down. Are you just really going to act like you don't see me right now? I understood all this French, mind you. Are you really going to act like you don't see me right now? And the guy's like, I'm so... What are you doing? He's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Well, all right. I mean, don't act. I mean, really, is that what
So
we're
are
doing?
you gonna go?
Are you gonna go or am I gonna go? Who's going? He's like, no, sir, you could go. You could go. But Mr.
Have a great day.
Have a great day. I'm so sorry. You know what? I'm wrong, and I say I'm wrong. I'm so sorry. So Ali's like, no, you go. And so he lets the man go.
But the man doesn't go. He still can't get his thoughts together. So I was like, you know what? I can't with you. I'm just gonna go ahead and go.
He was a man after my own heart. I could relate to that moment. I've wanted to do that so many times.
So he decided to go. But nothing was funnier though when we were still driving in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess lint proceeded to make its way towards him.
So true. So true.
And he wasn't having it that day.
No.
And all
I actually thought it was a bug.
He's very meticulous.
We did think it was a bug.
Did you want to demonstrate? He's slapping. He's slapping the lint off of his jacket. If I had a lint roller in that moment, I would have happily just said, "Here you are, sir. I want to help you."
But
no.
I mean,
Smacked it on himself. Hilarious. That was a wonderful journey.
So then we get to our Airbnb,
which was lovely, by the way.
Beautiful place.
Beautiful, lovely.
Right next door to a grocery store. Everything. It was very convenient.
She had waters for us. These wonderful, I think they're called chouquettes. Chouquettes. That's what they're called. Chouquettes.
So good.
These little pastries.
Little
that
pastry.
have like sugar on top.
Oh,
of it.
it's amazing.
Which was amazing because we just got off of our flight and we hadn't.
We're exhausted
eaten
and
yet.
we're hungry.
And so we decided to go out.
Yep, we decided to go out and eat. We just said, let's just see where the road takes us. We'll try not to get lost. We'll just follow.
Now she had a booklet of the great places for us to look at and see within the area. No, we don't need those.
No.
We decided to just follow our nose and explore the area.
So we stumbled upon a place. I'll leave it nameless at the moment. And we looked at the menu.
Saw people outside. Well, okay, this might be good from the menu.
Yes. I love eating al fresco. I love eating outside. It's very much part of the experience. But we're tired. The girls don't want to deal with bugs, which I told them generally there's not a whole lot of bugs. But the smoking, I understand. I mean, we are in France. I get it. So the girls decided.
Well, remember there was a restaurant I wanted to go to, and I said, "Oh, let's walk a little further."
Yes, we did. We decided to walk a little further.
Let's put that disclaimer out there.
She's saying this because she wants to be proven right in a few moments. That's important.
But it's important detail.
I'm humble.
Ooze and humility.
Just.
So we proceed to order at this restaurant, and as we're waiting for our food, what do we see?
Ratatouille.
But a little
Remy.
A teeny tiny mouse. Just scurrying towards our table.
When we say towards our table, he's on the floor.
He's on the floor.
Yeah.
And he was very small. I am personally very much afraid of mice. I don't like them. I don't deal with them. I can't. Because you can't squash it like a bug, right? You can't squash it. So this mouse is, I don't know, maybe this big? Would you say? He was
more like my size.
Oh, okay. So Sharita's.
I think that's too big.
He was really small.
No.
He was very small.
This is as big.
That's his body.
That's his body.
That's
what
his
I'm
whole
saying.
body.
That's his whole body.
Okay.
Yes. Well, he was a very small mouse, though. And I'm like, oh gosh, there's a mouse on the floor.
And my back is to him. So I don't know whenever he's coming out. It's just Shanika.
And Shanika is giving us a play-by-play. Oh my gosh, there's a little mouse.
I was like, oh, I'm living a Ratatouille movie.
Oh my gosh, look at that. He's kind of cute though.
But he's
clean.
so
He's the cleanest mouse I've ever seen. Maybe he lives here.
Jet lag in full effect. Maybe I should give him a little crumb. A crumb of what?
We're kind of like, maybe this is our cue to go.
Right.
Although I hated that we'd already ordered our food at this point. But I'm like, maybe we should
He was very comfortable with the restaurant.
He was too comfortable with the restaurant.
Because he would go away. And then come back out. And then come a little closer, then go away.
One time he went towards your foot. Right?
He did. He came really close to my foot.
Sense of
personal boundaries.
No.
He's like, I reside here, not you.
Yep. So Shonika's like, you know what? but he's clean. I have seen so many mice growing up in New York. I
She's
have
taking
seen
that- she's going down
so many mice.
She's going down memory lane now.
And he's quite clean.
So we should
So
be
I
thankful.
don't think that this is really that bad.
I think we should be okay with him. She is across the table from me.
True story.
I am closer to him. I said, we don't need to have this be our situation right
Let
now.
me just put a disclaimer though. I would not tolerate it in the U.S. anywhere.
But in
Why
France,
is she tolerating this in Paris? I don't know. I have
this is
lived
part of
in
the Ratatouille
France
experience.
I said,
for some time, and I
No,
have
ma'am.
never in any restaurant in anyone's home that I've ever
This
been
is not
to
sanitary.
seen a mouse, a rat. I've seen rats in London, but I've never seen a mouse or anything of that nature in anyone's home or in any restaurant I've ever been to in France. So I'm trying to explain like this is not normal. We don't need to take this. We don't need to accept it. We're hungry. We're tired.
What do? We stay there and eat.
We stay there and eat.
It wasn't the
And it
greatest
still
one.
wasn't good.
And the food wasn't good.
My bun was like so hard.
Oh my
It
gosh, she had a burger and her
it
bun
wasn't
was
worth it.
really hard. My salmon was all right. And Sharina had some sort of steak that wasn't
I had
good.
a steak that I
It was
asked for
ribeye.
medium well.
You
Or
should get it
medium.
well.
It was so tough to cut, even with the steak knife. I said, what is this?
It wasn't good. So then we go back to our apartment.
I said, yeah. We head back towards our apartment at this point.
We head back to-
We're done.
We
With
head
the
back
night.
to our apartment only to discover that we're locked out.
We locked ourselves.
We locked ourselves out of the apartment. We had the key, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently I locked it too many times. And when I went to unlock it, I couldn't get the door open. And then the key got stuck in the door.
It wouldn't let it back.
So we basically got locked out with the key. We got locked out with the key. So we had to call our Airbnb host, who was so gracious. She was
So
very
gracious.
close by,
What
like
did she tell us?
7 minutes away. She said, "Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry that this has happened to you. You know what? Why don't you go eat something?
Go out to dinner.
Go out to dinner, eat something,
Yes.
and when you
And
come
come
back,
back.
and I'll call you
When it's
to let
when
you
it's
know that the room is that the apartment is ready."
We just came back.
We just came back from eating. So we had to go back out to eat.
So we decided, you know what? Let's go to the place that Shonika suggested, which was right around the corner from
Yeah. Our apartment.
apartment.
Sure,
I decided to get a
have-
whole salad. I got
She ate a meal because
I got
she
a
didn't
Thai,
eat very much of
a
the
chicken
food.
Thai salad, which was absolutely amazing.
And I got a kheer, which I love. It's like a before dinner drink of wine layered with like there's like a fruit
Puree.
not
Not
really
puree,
puree,
but-
a fruit liqueur. Not
It's not liqueur.
I don't know, like a fruit juice,
or
if
something.
you will. Very, very good. It's one
And
of my
Shonika
favorite
got a hot
things.
chocolate.
Shrika got a hot chocolate, and I also got chocolate mousse, and Shrina got a wonderful chocolate eclair.
Yes.
Everything was wonderful.
Ate my whole meal.
Everything was wonderful. I almost
A
had
little bit.
tears
At
when
the
I was-
other restaurant,
Mhm,
ate
mhm.
my entire plate of food
Mhm.
and the whole eclair by myself.
Mhm. Yes,
It was wonderful though.
it was.
That was a
It
great,
was.
great restaurant.
That chocolate mousse almost brought tears to my eyes. I don't like chocolate, but I like chocolate
She
in
did.
France apparently,
She did.
and I it brought back such sweet, blessed memories that I almost had tears in my eyes.
So then we get the call that we can come back to our apartment. Charnay first goes over to make sure that we can even get in. She knows how to work the door
I test the
properly
lock myself with the host
before
yes.
she leaves because we still hadn't finished paying from the restaurant. So we stayed to pay.
Mhm.
When she got back, we left and went back to our apartment. So we are exhausted at this point.
I mean, it's like 8 o'clock at night, and there's a 7-hour time difference. No, it's not even 8 o'clock. It was what, 9?
It was like 9.
It was
like
about 9 o'clock at night. There's a 7-hour time difference in Dallas.
And Charnay wanted to make sure that she kept us up so we could adjust properly
To the time
versus
difference.
allowing us to sleep.
Yes.
So we go to bed, wake up the next morning, trying to figure out why there are all these black specks around me. Well, apparently my headphones that I had that were noise canceling, big Sony headphones, had peeled and had left a trail of dust everywhere possible in the bed,
On the white sheet.
on the white sheets, on my pillow,
In the bathroom.
in the bathroom,
in the
when I
kitchen.
went, like anywhere I tread my feet upon, there was a black speck that decided to follow me as well.
It wasn't just following her. It went from her ear to the back of her neck to the side of her face.
I thought it was moles that
Yes.
grew overnight.
Covering the
I was
side
like,
of her face.
But the weird part, it wasn't on my side.
No, it wasn't
Oh
on
my
her side
gosh.
because it was just on my pillow. It was just on me because I was like, listen, I don't know what may happen and what may come out
The
from
noises
us,
were pretty bad from
Yeah.
you know, getting there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I need silence when I'm or quiet when I'm sleeping, not a lot of noise, because I could wake up very easily. Those headphones. It took still a few days after us being there that we were still finding specks from those headphones, which I did throw them out, but they were all down. I was still cleaning it off the next few days afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So that was all within 24 hours of our
That's the
visit to
first
Paris.
24 hours of our trip. Yeah.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
We survived.
So then we decided to explore more the next day. Well, not really the next day because we were still very tired and we ended up sleeping really late. So for the most part, we pretty much got out midday in Paris. So Shawnee decides to take us on an exploratory excursion to Sacré-Cœur.
Sacré-Cœur.
Well, close. I'm doing my best.
I know.
So Shawnee, why don't you tell them about your experience with that one?
Yes.
So she said we were going to do a lot of walking, and I'm like, okay, I understand. I'll make sure I wear the right shoes. I had no idea what type of walking we were going to do, including about 5 to 10 flights of steps.
Yeah, about 10 flights. So.
And it was like a sequence of maybe 25 steps per area. Would you say?
Yeah.
Uphill.
So first of all, we were climbing a hill, and then after climbing the hill, we had steps
To get up still the hill.
Yes.
By the time we got halfway through, I said, I need a minute. just give me a minute. I was like, if you would have told me about steps,
I told her
would've
about
thought
steps. I
differently.
said we're gonna do a lot of walking, and we have steps that we need to prepare for. So
I had no idea.
she
I had no
didn't.
idea. By the time I got to the top, I was like, I just need to stand here for a minute. Let me get some water.
But the beautiful thing was when we had the 2 pauses, because I think it was only just 2 pauses,
Yeah.
There were just 2.
that we weren't the only ones feeling this way.
No.
We had
All ages.
all ages,
Other nationalities.
other nationalities, including the French,
Mm-hmm.
that were still feeling the same way that we were.
On va faire une petite pause.
To where I understood why there was a gentleman at the very top selling cold bottles of water.
That was a smart business.
It's very
I said,
smart
sir,
business.
you are a genius to have
Yeah.
that right there because
Very smart
that
business.
is where you need it most. Now, mind you, we look to our right only to see a little tram rail car that could take you up to the top that you could ride. She never suggested this. No, she wanted us to get the full experience.
That's what I've always done. I've never taken a tram ride up there. I don't
but
think.
while she's doing it, she's like, I don't remember this many steps before.
Because I came from the opposite direction.
But also, when she did this trip, I believe it was winter. So it's
the fall. and
winter.
Yeah.
It's totally different than being in the summer. Going up those steps.
And
But
then we
even
still
in
had
the
to get up
summer, it was
another
70
flight.
degrees, guys. It wasn't like it was 90 degrees outside. It was about 70, 75
But then we
degrees.
still had to get up another little flight of steps
Yes.
to get up
But
to
it was
the
sunny.
attraction that she even
Yes.
wanted us to see.
Yes. Sacré-Cœur.
Let me tell you something. The attraction, I said, I'm over it. By the time I get up, I didn't even care
It's
about
true.
the
She
attraction.
couldn't even receive it.
She's like, I don't want to take any pictures.
I don't want to take any
this.
pictures. I'm not in the mood for anything.
She's like,
And then too, sometimes people are kind of pushy over to get
There were a
over
lot
in
of
certain
tourists,
areas.
yeah.
So I was
A lot
like,
of
I'm not in
tourists.
the mood. You know,
mm-hmm.
when you see one hill, you've seen them all. I mean, what?
But the view was beautiful. That we
It
would
was a
take.
lovely
was
view
nice.
of the
A lovely
city.
view of
A
the
lovely
city.
view of the city.
So then we decided to walk some more, and we're like, you know what? Since we've been doing the whole tourist thing, let's take a boat ride.
A bus ride.
Bus
Oh,
ride.
it was bus ride.
Yeah, it was
We had
bus
a
ride.
bus
Okay,
ride.
bus ride.
Mm-hmm.
So we first had to figure out which direction we were going, and I asked Shanae numerous times, "Are you sure this is the right direction we should be going, or should we be across the street?"
I said, I don't know, but I think this is right. It looks like it's just one big loop. Let's just take it. See where it takes us.
We get on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Shanae pays. We get
Yeah.
a little validation tickets.
We're excited. I was like, I'm sitting.
We're
Yeah.
excited to be
Enjoy the
sitting.
view.
It was €6 for all 3 of us. Or was it €8? I don't know,
I think
6
it
or
was
8 euros.
Right.
It was super cheap.
We were just excited to be
on the
sitting
bus.
down.
There's air conditioning,
Mhm.
light air conditioning, but air conditioning.
It was better than.
And I'm taking a video. I'm like, look at this
I'm
lovely
doing my video
bus
too because I was
ride.
like, listen,
This
my
is
coworker just
great.
recommended to me, hey, when you get to the city, just take a bus ride. You could take it for an hour and a half, and just see where it takes you. And then when you go back around, you'll know where you want to stop. So I said, listen, let's just take the bus.
After that walk, we needed to just sit down
Yeah.
and collect our thoughts. So
then the bus goes to the first stop, and we're like, okay.
This is cute. Still doing my videos.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like,
We're
this is
still
awesome.
doing a video. And the gentleman says, vous allez où, les femmes? He's like, vous allez où? And I was like, okay. Where are you going? And I'm like, oh,
and
he's not
Shanika, I
talking
don't
to us.
speak French, so we're
He's
just
like-
like
So he turns around, the bus driver turns around, and he's like, vous allez où? Where are you going? And I'm like, oh, us. Oh.
because there's nobody else.
Everybody else got off. We're still
Oh,
on. And I said,
us.
listen, we're
Oh,
good.
us. Where are we going?
We'll sit here, sir, and ride the whole round.
I said, oh, monsieur, on sait pas. We're just riding the bus. We don't even know. We're just riding the bus, just see where the bus takes us. He's
It's
like,
exploratory.
yeah, no. You see, I'm getting off the bus. This is my last stop. This is my last shift of the day. This is it for me for the day.
This is the final
I'm
stop.
getting off the bus. This is the final stop. And I was like, oh, girls.
And she tells us, well, okay.
We're trying to grab us.
We're trying to grab all of our stuff. So we're so excited to take the bus wherever it leads us. We're like, we're just going to see where the bus takes us. Being spontaneous.
Only to go up a stop.
To go one stop. And the man is like, I need you to get off because my day has ended.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thankfully, where he dropped us off was a
Yes.
very public area to
Yes.
where we were able to catch another bus.
Yes.
Going
That
back,
did take us to places.
back towards the direction we just came from. Like, oh, there's our
I
stop.
was like, there's the stop. We just.
So if we would have listened to Sharina,
And the Holy Spirit saying, I really think we need to be across the street. I told her this numerous times.
she did. And I said, no, I don't know.
I said, for some reason,
I
I just feel like we
really
should be
don't know.
across the street.
Mm-hmm.
So we did take that bus.
And we landed at the Champs-Élysées. So for any of you who do not know, the Champs-Élysées is a very famous avenue, boulevard, whatever you want to call it, but it's basically where all the big shopping is in Paris. So it's a very, very famous street. Think of it as like your Fifth Avenue, if you will, of New York, but in Paris. So there's a huge amount of, there's a huge amount of shopping to be had there. Lovely restaurants, lots of tourism. I mean, in the distance you can see the Arc of Triumph, l'Arc de Triomphe. You can see so many different things. It's
Not
really
too far from the Eiffel Tower.
It's not too far from the Eiffel Tower. You can see it in the distance. It's really kind of in the heart of the action.
So
There's even a song after it. It's very famous.
Shanika was hungry.
Shanika was hungry.
And so we were trying to figure out what we're going to eat.
Yes.
The kicker was she was excited when she saw Five Guys.
I was like, come on. But no, but tell them about the bus when we got off the bus. How?
Well,
So when we got off the bus, Sharina was stopped by some tourists asking her, I'm sorry, we're looking for, what is it called? Bateau Mouche, which is, a certain boat ride, basically, that goes around the river. And we had thought about taking the boat ride ourselves.
Yes.
And Sharina's looking at me like, Sharnay, what am I supposed to do? Mind you, he's speaking English.
Oh, he was? I didn't know he was speaking. I didn't know he was speaking English.
Sharina's like, Sharnay, what should
I don't know what this place is, so I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say.
So I was like, oh, Bateau Mouche. I said, we need to go there too. I said, but you see, sir, there's the Eiffel Tower in the distance. If you just use the Eiffel Tower as your
Guide.
I'm sure if you just follow it, you'll figure it out. I said, and if not, you could ask someone
We
as you
know.
go in that direction, because I really don't know. I'm a tourist just like you are. So anyway, so we ended up at this restaurant because Shonika's hungry. She sees Five Guys, but we decided to go to a place not too far
No,
from
but
it.
tell them what you told me.
I said, we didn't come to France
We did not.
to have Five Guys.
I just thought it was cool
Absolutely
that Five
not.
Guys was there. Like, who expects
First
to
of all,
see
they'd
Five
already
Guys in
had
Paris?
burgers. We had already had a couple of burgers.
We did. The second burger, though, was amazing.
Yeah,
The second burger was really good.
But
we'd already had a couple of burgers since we've been here, and I was like, no, we're not going to do
be
that.
those people. We
We're
will not be those Americans.
Yes, having only American food in France. Who does that?
Absolutely not.
So anyway, so we go to this restaurant and we see
Mussels.
Moule frites, which is mussels and fries, which is one of my favorites, and the girls have really enjoyed it also. And so we see mussels on the menu, so we order our food, and Shonika decides to order shrimp. And the lady's like, are you sure you want the shrimp? Because the shrimp are very small. Are you sure you don't want the prawns?
The prawns are bigger.
You know, the prawns are bigger. And Shonika's like, no, I really want shrimp. And so she's like, okay. So when the shrimp come to the table, did we ever take a picture of it?
We did. And I'll definitely post it.
When the shrimp come to the table, we'll take a picture. Or we'll show you the picture. But I kid you not, the shrimp were the size of not even my whole finger. Just from here up.
Yep, that's it.
Just this part of my finger. That's how big the shrimp were.
And tell them about our faces when we arrived.
And
That's
when
the shrimp.
yes, very teeny tiny
On a bed of ice.
a bed of ice.
This is what you have to work with.
And mind you, there was still a shell.
This is what
Not only the shell, the head, everything.
The head and the shell was all still on. So Shonika and I are trying to work. There's no tools.
No tools.
smaller than a crawfish.
And Shonika and I are trying to work a little shrimp, trying to
never
get
seen
everything
shrimp that small in my entire life.
ever. Now it tasted amazing.
great.
Now, our waitress, she puts down 2 plates for them.
Yep.
I said, well, I guess I don't get to sample these shrimp since she didn't give me a plate. But I ordered almost like a caprese salad that she was bringing to me later on that I didn't know was the reason why she didn't give me a plate, because I'm just looking around like, gave me a towelette to clean my hands.
After the seafood.
But no plate to taste the shrimp. So I'm looking at them while they're working.
But as soon as we saw the plate, we looked and got silent. We said, we laughed so hard.
I almost said to her, I think you gave us the wrong order.
Mind you, she
And
asked
she's
that
like,
numerous times.
She's like, here you go.
And
We said, she said, enjoy. This is what you have. And we said, thank you.
And I'm just looking at them cutting my little salad like,
I have never worked so hard for my dinner or my lunch or whatever you want to
They're
call
like,
it.
oh, you want to try it? I said, if you do it, I'll try it.
just
because I'm not working
little
that hard.
hands are working.
It was really, really
It
good.
was
though.
so
It was really
tedious,
good.
but it was very tasty.
So if you go there, get the bigger
Just
one.
get the prawns.
Get the prawns.
Don't fight.
Get
Don't fight
the
with the
prawns.
prawns.
And here's the thing: it would have been like 8 prawns, 8 versus
We suffered.
we had what
suffered
50
for a meal.
little shrimp. 50.
It was awful. So good. I mean, if you could have seen, and Sade was like, I keep breaking up the head. I said, listen, I know we got these nails.
Yeah.
There's no way to be successful with this. All we can do
No
is the best we
utensils with it. Absolutely not.
Nope. So then we decided to take the boat ride.
Oh,
The same boat ride that the gentleman asked
For
directions with.
Shanae really wanted to go at night because she wanted us to see everything in Paris at night. We were like, but it's kind of midday. We'll miss all of the architecture and everything that we could see because yes, the Eiffel Tower will be lit, but some of these other places we might not be able
She was
to
like, this
capture.
is the city of lights.
This is the city of lights.
Everything
there are
is lit.
lights everywhere. It's lit everywhere. The bridges are lit. The buildings are all lit. This is the city of lights.
We didn't care. I was like,
They
no,
didn't
I wanna
care.
go-
They
I wanna
wanted
go
to see
during
it
the
in the
day.
day. So
So it was a perfect time to go.
It
I
was,
complied, although the sun was largely in our eyes.
which is the picture that we showed.
So we go up to our level. We sit down. We have a perfect spot. Our wonderful sister asked us a question because I was sitting in the corner. She said, I can't do it if you laugh. She said, because my hair is natural, would you like me to sit on the end?
That's what she
Now,
said.
it's a river boat, so it's
Two tiers.
Two tiers, so it's not even where it's going to go
And we
fast.
we were on the second tier.
We're on
Where-
the top level.
Where there's a whole lot of movement and flow to the water that it could possibly go up that high. To
She said, my
get
hair
our
is
hair
natural.
wet.
I could get my
But
hair
she
wet.
said, I'll take one for the team.
But my
And-
favorite.
What was your favorite?
I thought to myself, this is not the Disney,
I think
I think she thought it was a Disney
she
ride.
thought we was on the Disney ride.
She thought we were on the ride
She
of
said we're
the
on
Disney.
the wheel and
We're
when we
about
turn,
to
we're gonna
go
go
down
a slide.
into a river We're doing a river cruise
No,
in Disney.
to my defense,
Mm-hmm.
for some reason I was thinking, okay, if we're cruising and the wind picks up somehow and water
She thought there would be mist.
there might be mist.
It's gonna come all the way up
All the way to the second
to
level.
the second level.
I was like, I'm trying to preserve your hair while you were here in France because this is, again, the beginning of our trip. So I thought it made sense to me, but then after I said it, she looked
Like,
I realized I might not have been my best self at that moment.
She was willing to serve. She was willing.
I was
serve.
willing to take one for the team.
She was, and we thank you for it.
that was
So-
a funny moment afterwards.
Yeah, so we have our seat, and we're on the first row of the after you get off the
Behind the rail.
as far as the steps.
So the cruise decides to go.
No,
Starts to go.
Yep, starts to go. But we have a wonderful, wonderful group of
Tourists.
Asians,
Asian
Tourists.
tourists.
and you know what? We're Blasian. We love our people.
We love our people.
They must have had about 25 people come
With them alone.
with them, all ages,
All ages, yeah.
and we love them.
Yes, we do.
We do
Yes,
love
we do.
them.
One of them chose to sit right next to me, not at the beginning of the ride, but partway through the ride.
As an attraction was
She
beginning
said-
to come up.
Because
This
they would
is
get
the
it was
seat
it
that
was
I
it was
need.
getting more intense with wanting to take pictures and
To really
wanted to have the
capture
right
the
angle,
I need you to
the
demonstrate.
right stance.
So I would put up my camera to take a picture, and she would put hers up. She would come closer to me. She would put hers up to take hers right in front of me. So I said, "Okay, well, let me take it over here." And she,
I'm not. We are not
I
exaggerating.
kid you not. Every time I got ready to take a picture,
Sade
her
wasn't moving fast
camera
enough.
was either above mine or in front of mine,
And
or
you know they had their
their
sticks.
selfie sticks. It was intense. And so finally she left, and I was so grateful.
So
I
they
said,
moved up a few rows
And then there was one who was sitting directly behind Shornika who had a selfie stick.
with her lovely red coat.
And she would always have it on the other side of the rail.
Mm-hmm.
She's
take
leaning
pictures.
behind me. She's like
Had it kind of above her.
me. I mean, she's
Mm-hmm.
she's doing what she has to do.
Has to get the picture.
She sure did.
And so some of the other tourists started getting annoyed
Oh, yes,
because
they did.
the more the ride continued, the more aggressive
My closest window.
everyone became based upon the experience they wanted to have. They started taking pictures
Yes, they did.
in front of some of the other tourists
I'd like to
sitting there.
demonstrate what one of these pictures looked like. There was a young lady who looked like, what, 15, 14?
Yeah, about 14, 15.
14, 15. She was my favorite of them all.
Yeah, she was the star of the whole thing.
Thank
She was
you.
the star of the whole thing.
Yes, so she had on her coat, her little coat, and she would get to the edge. So imagine right behind me is the railing of the boat. And every time she was ready for her picture.
Yeah. In fact, she had on a white T-shirt.
She did. And a blue
And
jacket.
a blue.
And then she turned to one shoulder.
And then sometimes it would be, oh, you want to take a picture?
And her mom was
You
actually
have to show
the photographer.
Oh, wait, I got to show the shoulder.
You gotta show
Yeah,
the, you have to show the
She took
shoulder.
us a shoulder. It was a gentle hand.
It was gentle,
Yeah.
softly placed hands.
And the
Just
pose
so-
never changed.
It
was
never
always one
changed.
side. And the hair sometimes would be like this way. Yep. And or the other. Yep. That's what she
there
had
it
to do. And her mom was like,
She's like, honey,
on it.
I got it.
I got it.
And then she would look over at us because I'm staring at her at this point because I'm
like, is this really happening?
fascinating?
It's very
I'm like, she's
fascinating.
really doing this.
oh, and she wanted to say, and this is my moneymaker. Yep. That's what she said. And
You
her
gotta get
mom is just, oh baby, you are doing it. Like, I mean, she's
Not posing much more.
but
And
the
then
shoulders,
the one shoulder, I said, I don't know what that shoulder does.
And as soon as she finished taking her picture, the jacket went back on.
Jack went back on. So she's
She
home.
would go.
She
She
was
would go back
done
to
with her
this.
picture, so she's like, okay.
Yep. Now she's back.
Oh, honey, let me take a picture. Okay.
The show. Listen, that jacket had,
Let me
and
get my
it's
hair right.
something about that length. It couldn't go past here. I don't know.
It was something about
I
that.
don't
She didn't
know.
want it. She didn't want it all the way down here.
No.
Or
Or
she
she
didn't
didn't want to
see-
take it off.
Every
You
now
could
and then she might do that, but it was
You
very
think so?
rare. It was very rare.
Mm.
But for the most part, it
I
was
have
always
never seen a jacket so important to a photo in my entire life. That was her biggest prop and moneymaker in those photos.
moneymaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tourists began to get a little bit more aggressive with their pictures.
Yes, they did.
Especially as it got closer to the Eiffel Tower.
Oh yes.
Just in general.
They just started running. Some of them ran down the hall.
You just
ran
look
down
up
the
and there
entrance.
was more
Down
gathering
the aisle.
around the same place to where others were like, I'm sorry, you're in my picture? That
I was
I'm
like,
trying
can
to
you
say,
move?
can you move? And then some, I mean, they were fabulous in their own rights, in their own way, because, I mean, I wish we would have recorded what we were seeing, because it's really hard to describe
Yes, it is.
all the different poses that were happening.
I will say this: by the time the ride was over, I told my sisters I'm mentally exhausted. I feel like they sucked out the energy.
We just sat there
from me with the sun and all the enjoyment, because they were just,
we have no more to
that
give.
powerful.
We should just go back to our apartment. So we took an Uber back to our apartment. But we can't. We don't. There's nothing else that we can give right now because of what we just transpired.
It was exhausting. It was just to watch was a lot.
It was exhausting.
I mean, that boat ride. It was beautiful. It was a great experience.
Gosh,
Still suggest that, but it was.
And it was cool
lot.
seeing people dancing in the park too.
Oh,
you
yes.
know, that was
Oh,
really
yeah,
nice to see.
it was really cool. There was this area, there was like a park right off of the river where there were 3 different dances going. So one section they were doing swing dance, and another that was swing dance. Then the next section,
like swing.
The next section they were doing salsa, and then the very next section they were actually doing the tango. So it was really beautiful seeing people outside, you know, dancing in the park, and seeing people even, you know, eating and reading books with friends along the River Seine.
It was beautiful.
It was really beautiful to see. Very beautiful.
And then we tried escargot for the first time.
Yes, they tried escargot. And what did you think?
It was amazing. I would have it
Seriously, guys.
again.
Good stuff.
Now, it took us a minute to get it out.
Yeah, because you got to get it out the shell. That's what she means to get it out.
So tell them what it is.
So escargot, for any of you who may not know, is snails. But these are not snails from the ground. These are snails from the sea. And that's a very different situation. But they are basically smothered in like a garlic and onion butter, which is amazing.
Yes, these
garlics and herbs.
That was them. They were good because inside that little shell had all the herbs and
It was amazing.
juices. It
doesn't look pretty, but
It
So
doesn't
amazing.
look pretty at all. But it was so tasty. And for their first experience, it was actually really good.
So, Charnay tried to get it out for us. Struggled a little bit.
Because there's a
Because there's a
Think
special
Pretty
utensil.
Woman. There's a special
tool.
you're supposed to use. And then a little fork.
Yeah, it's like a tongue, but
Yeah, it's like a tongue.
So then Shronika's like, okay, well, I can probably get this out.
I was like, let me try.
Does it? Yanks it out very quickly in the first try.
First try. Like a true oldest child.
I didn't know. I was like, I'll at least try it and see if I can do it. And I was like, oh.
So then I like, okay, well, then maybe there's.
Sharina said, I can do it. I said,
I
you
can
better
do
go
it.
for it.
I kid you not, it took me about 10 minutes. Maybe even 15.
I would say, well, off and on from trying. No,
Off
it
and
didn't
on.
take you that long.
No, I would say
10
5.
minutes.
I would say 5. You're exaggerating. I would say 5. 5 minutes is still a long time.
I was like, just
5
hold
minutes
it
is
like
still
a,
long
you gotta
time.
hold
It took a long
certain way.
time
It did take a long time.
to get it because you have to hold it and grip it right
With the shell.
with the shell. Then you have to use the little fork that comes with it
Yeah.
to be able to get in it and like twist it or pull it out. And so if your right hand is your stronger hand, there's a lot of coordination that has to happen with it.
It's true.
So I was struggling, but I did get it, and it was wonderful when I did finally finish it.
That was a great meal.
It was a great meal. Shronika had a great seafood salad that she had there with a dill
Really good.
vinaigrette, which was really good.
Shrimp,
Crab
crab,
and grapefruit
Oh,
and
my
citrus.
God.
That was
so
really good.
And
They had
very
a
good duck
confit.
confit.
Oh,
Confit de canard.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it was
gosh.
really
potatoes.
good.
With those potatoes. I
was
mean, I think it
very
was
yummy.
fried in the
It was fried in the duck
fat or
It
whatever.
was. And the duck juices.
I
It
never
was
thought
really
duck
good.
could make a big difference in somebody's life. It was so good.
It was very
really good.
yummy. Very yummy.
So then we head back to our apartment because of course we have to prepare to leave.
So the next day, we prepared to leave and we get an Uber to go back to the airport. I mean, we could have taken a bus or train, but with as much luggage as we had
And it was
and
also
the
getting
walk
close
to
our
get to the
flight
bus stop
being-
and all of that, it made the most sense for us to just go ahead and get an Uber. So we take our Uber drive. It took me forever, first of all, to figure out what terminal we were in. I've never seen an airline hide it so. It was like encrypted. I had to work so hard. It took me 15 minutes to figure out what terminal we were going to go into at the airport. But anywho.
But even before that, the gentleman puts our 2 luggages in his trunk. Mm-hmm. Now, his trunk looks like it's been through some things. And you don't know if it's going to really stay closed the entire way. So we get in the car.
I didn't judge the man.
And the light's still on.
I was just thankful that everything could fit.
The light's still on. And I'm like, okay, are we going to make sure all of our luggage gets with us to the airport? Or is it going to pop open?
So she asks me to ask him. I'm the bad guy. Why? Because I'm the one who speaks French. So she asks me to ask him. I'm like, sure, excuse me, sir, are you sure the trunk is closed? Vous êtes sûr que le coffre est bien fermé? He's like, yeah, I'm sure. I was like, okay. We're not going to ask him again. Mm-mm. He says it's closed, it's closed. And it was, thank God. Mm-hmm. But then as we're driving through this neighborhood, we're twists and turns, we're seeing another side of Paris, and it's beautiful, and it's lovely.
It's really nice.
We passed the Louvre.
A lot of flea market.
Past a flea market, which was very sweet. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, we're at a stoplight.
A major area.
A major intersection, and we're at a stoplight, and he rolls down his window, and he's yelling to this man.
A friend of his.
Outside of the window. I was like, oh, maybe that's a friend.
I don't know if it's a friend. It wasn't even a friend.
It wasn't a friend, but I thought it was because I said, why else would he be yelling to this man? Hey, man, hey. And the guy's looking up like...
So you're saying it wasn't a friend?
It wasn't a friend. It wasn't a friend. He looked up and he was like, okay. Because I expected a friend to be like, hey, man.
He did. I thought he did say hey.
No, he just...
Like, wait a minute, because he was finishing up a transaction.
He was kind of like, okay, hi, just a second. So basically, we are stopping traffic at this point. The light is green.
I don't know what's about to happen.
We're trying to turn right.
Stopping traffic. We're trying to turn right. And he's sitting there. And then people are honking their horns like, dude, why are you sitting in the middle of the road? What are you doing? Mm-hmm. You're in our way. What's going on? We don't fully understand what's happening either.
So then he puts on his hazards.
He puts on his hazards.
Oh, he did?
The window is down, and he's still yelling at this guy. So I'm thinking, like, is he really going to talk to his friend right now? Like, while we're on our way to the airport? The man was actually unloading a food, maybe like food delivery, like, I don't know, maybe.
He was selling those cans.
I thought he was stocking up.
I thought he was like working. I thought it was like a food truck.
I thought he was stocking up somebody else's kitchen. I don't know. But anyway, this guy had food. That's what we knew. He had food, he had drinks, stuff like that. So he throws into the window 4 cans. Mini cans, because they're teeny tiny. Yeah. 4 mini cans of
Lipton
green mint lemonade.
Lemon tea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the Uber driver's like, you want something to drink? So we're like, okay.
Okay. We felt like
we had to accept it. I mean,
he worked so hard.
And I was like, that improved his rating as my Uber driver, or as our Uber driver, because he wanted to make sure we were hydrated.